Hello and welcome to this week's episode. This week is a bit of a special one because we're going to be talking all about snacking, how to get in control of your snacking, how to overcome evening snacking, and whether actually it's even a bad thing or not, and what to snack on. We've had lots of questions on this, so I can't wait to really deep dive into this. Also, Squaddies, something exciting is dropping later. Stay tuned on the WhatsApp group. We are giving you a little gift. And finally, something I've been talking a lot about recently, and this is something that you need to keep thinking about yourselves as well. If you really want to experience long-term habit change, whether that's with your workouts, your nutrition, with whatever it might be, even your mindset, is your behaviors determine your actions, and then your actions determine the person you become. Particularly that last little bit. Your actions determine the person you're going to become. Now, a couple of examples I gave on the group, just one, for example. We'll do one, and you'll have to look at the WhatsApp group for the other one, is logging into class, just literally turning it on every Monday to Friday, no matter how busy the week gets. That's your behavior and your action, showing up for you, giving it what you've got. So you're there, you do the class, giving it what you've got, modifying any moves that you might need to. And then that means that you become the person who prioritizes their health, builds strength and energy to tackle your week ahead, and shows up for you no matter how busy you get. Now, you could have easily not shown up. You could have easily not logged in and then not done the classes. Your behavior and actions could have been so different. But the thing is, that doesn't actually necessarily get us to where we want to be. So as you go forward through this week, or even today, just think, particularly just simplifying it, your actions will determine the person you're going to be. So, who do you want to be? What choices would they make? What actions would they take? And just bear that in mind. Now, let's dive straight into the Q&A today. And we're going to start with snacking. So we're going to talk all about snacking. And then the last little bit of the Q&A, the second part, exercise and fitness, a bit of motivation, planning, and then a little bit about sleep and readiness. And what I mean by readiness is, when you wake up and your watch says you are not ready for the day, or don't do this, do that, and what to do about it. So let's start with snacking. Number one, I'm trying to eat more protein through the day. What vegetarian snacks can you recommend while I'm at work? Oh, there's so many. I would say you could take boiled eggs, although at work, I don't know if you'd be everyone's friend. I take them. Greek yogurt. You could have carrot and hummus. You could have some roasted chickpeas. You could have protein bars. You could have a protein smoothie. You could even take some nuts. You could take even like cheese slices. All of those things are really high in protein. So mainly, if you're not lactose intolerant, you can be thinking along the sides of dairy. You could also be thinking nuts and seeds, and then protein supplementation, kind of whatever you enjoy. So I really like to take or have a little pot of Greek yogurt. Also, I normally have carrot and hummus. I also take protein bar, and these are kind of like my go-tos. And then if I get a meal deal, for example, I'll get the little pot of, the two boiled eggs. I could make them from home, but if I'm in a rush, I'll do that. Number two, how much protein should I be eating a day? Okay, so there's a range here. If you are somebody who is quite sedentary, you could probably get away with about zero point 0.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. I would not advise that if you are somebody who is active, or someone who is on a weight loss journey, or you are someone who is peri or postmenopausal. I would not advise eating that little protein. I would say you want to be aiming for about 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight, even up to 2. That is the realm that I would be aiming for. So, for example, if somebody weighed 50 kilos, that's quite that's quite light, but let's just say they weigh 50 kilos, but easy maths, okay? Then you want to be aiming for about 75 to 100 grams of protein every day. And that needs to be spaced out through the day. And the reason we do this is because when you're on a weight loss journey, or you're having exponential muscle mass loss because your hormones are going through this ultimate change, going through the perimenopause and postmenopause, we need to maintain as much lean muscle mass as possible. And if you're somebody who is very active, you're going to be breaking down muscle tissue all the time. So it needs to be replenished. Otherwise, you won't You won't see the results from your workouts, and your body won't be able to adequately recover. And you need to be making sure that you're spacing this out throughout the day, because the body really can only take in so much protein at a time. It depends on the size of the person and your metabolism, etc. But it's roughly around about 25 grams of protein in a sitting, give or take. So just bear that in mind. This is why I'm always talking about, you want to base each meal around a protein source. Space it out throughout the day, and maybe even a snack or two of protein as well if you struggle to get in the amount for you. So just take your body weight in kilograms and times it by 1.5 to 2. And if you don't want to do that, then just base each meal around a protein source. You won't go too far wrong. I'm struggling not to snack in the evening. Any tips? Okay, firstly, I would be questioning why you're doing it. So get to the root cause of why it's happening. Because we don't want to just stick a plaster on it. We want to actually think about, okay, why am I doing this? And also, is it necessarily a bad thing? Like if you are a little bit hungry, or actually you need a bit extra before you go to bed to help your body adequately recover, is it a bad thing? Now, if you're thinking, oh yeah, but Lorna, I'm not really hungry, I'm just going for the sweet stuff and I know I shouldn't really be doing it and I kind of want to stop, then that's something a little bit different. Firstly, like I said, find out why it's happening. And we can use the HALT technique for this. Are you hungry? If you were genuinely hungry, of course, having a snack is absolutely fine. But I would be looking at your evening meal. Is it balanced? Have you got enough protein in there, fibrous carbohydrates, and some healthy fats? Have you really bulked it out as well with vegetables or salad? Have you got enough food? Have you got enough food there? So that's number one. Number two, is it a bit of an emotional response? Maybe you're feeling a little bit anxious. Maybe you're feeling anxious about the next day. Maybe you're feeling a bit fed up of what's happened in the day. Are you responding emotionally and using food as a comfort? Next is, are you bored? So it stands for lonely, but we can use it. Are you just bored? Are you just snacking because you're bored? T, are you tired? Are you snacking because you're tired and actually you're craving energy? And after making decisions all day, it's just easy to not have to think and just have a snack and give your body a little bit of a buzz, which, by the way, won't help with your sleep. So think about it that way. Or is it just become a habit, like just something that you do? You have your dinner, you clear away, you sit on the sofa and you get the snacks out and watch TV and have snacks. If it's become a habit, break the routine. The reason we get into habits is because as humans, we're a little bit programmed. And the best example for this I can think is, I have a set morning routine. I will get out of bed. I just fly out of bed in the morning. Will was like, I don't understand you. I don't get how you do it. But this is how I do it. Fly out of bed. I come downstairs. I put Harvey's food on the counter. I start pouring it out. In the meantime, while that's weighing itself out, I will go and make a coffee. Once that is done, I will go and put Harvey's food down. I'll have my coffee. I'll open my laptop. Then I will get my notepad out and I'll be looking at the class for that day. And then I will go, you get the idea. It's a series of events. And in order for me to get out of autopilot and change the habit, I need to stop doing one of those things. I need to shake up the order. I need to shake up how I'm doing things, and also being curious as to why I feel like I have to do something like that. And maybe the morning routine isn't the best example here, because that's a morning routine. It's great to be in routine as well. And things like that actually really serve me. It's a really efficient morning. I feel like it's my way that I wake up, right? Whereas in the evening, if you've got a habit or routine that is not serving you, like struggling with snacking in the evening, you don't want to do it anymore. You need to be thinking about, okay, I need to shake this up. What can I do instead? Can I finish my evening meal and then, instead of clearing up, going to sit down straight away, can I just go upstairs and have a bath? Can I go on a little walk? Can I just have a little walk with my partner or maybe family, get everybody involved, a little post-dinner walk? Can I do something else? Can I go and put a class on? Maybe it's to help you wind down. Maybe you just go and switch a yoga or Pilates on or something. What can I do instead? Shake up the routine. Shake up where you're sat in the living room if you do it in front of the telly. Shake it up. And then just try one night not doing it and prove it to yourself that, yeah, well, it's different now because my routine's a bit different. That's what I used to do before, but things are different now. Things have changed. So you sparked that change. You brought the subconscious to your conscious. And now we're starting to trigger some sort of change. That's what you want to do. And then prove it to yourself. Build up the evidence that you don't need to snack at night. And actually, you're adequately fueling yourself throughout the day. And that's good. That's enough. Or another thing to do is say, okay, well, I want a little bit of a snack. I want to watch TV and have a little bit of popcorn. So I'm just going to get one of those little bite-sized bags and I'm just going to have that. I'm going to eat it really mindfully and I'm going to really enjoy it. If that's your thing and you love to do it, then do that. But just think about your portion sizes and be really mindful. Think about what it tastes like, think about your enjoyment. Because chances are, the more we have of something, like snacking wise, the more and more and more we have, say you've got a bag of mini eggs, like the first two, three are like, so good, melt in my mouth, so crunchy, really nice. And by the time I get to the 11th, I'm just popping the mini eggs and I'm not even thinking about it anymore. And I'm not really getting any enjoyment out of it. So try and think about that as well. Number 4, what is the portion size for snacking on nuts? Okay, it's going to depend, like, as in nuts, the piece of nut, depend on what type of nut that you're eating, but it's roughly about 30 grams. So if we're talking about different types of nuts, you've got about 20-ish nuts for almonds and cashews, about 14, 15 for cashew halves, 30 peanuts. I'm not talking grams now, by the way, I'm talking actual nuts. 30 peanuts is about a portion, and about 5 Brazil nuts ish. Now, you don't have to stick to those. It doesn't mean that you can't have more or less. The thing with nuts is they're really good for you, like so, so good for you. But because they're high in fat, healthy fats, by the way, which we need, because they're high in fat, they're basically they're higher in calories because they're higher in fat. So if we're diving in and having handfuls and handfuls of nuts and we're on a weight loss journey, it can be a little bit counterproductive. So we just want to be really, really careful on our portion sizes on that one. Any good recipes or food choices to take away the craving for a takeaway? Aha. Okay, go to the nutrition area and look at the recipe books in there. That's what I would say. And make your own. Like, have a little bit of fun in the kitchen making your own. You can make pizza. You could do something like a healthy fish and chips in the air fryer, for example. We actually did that the other night. So we had salmon and then I just chopped up potatoes and just threw it in the air fryer and it was really nice. And then Will was like, "This is so wholesome." Like, I know. Then pizza, you could make your own base. You can even use Greek yogurt to make your own base. Check that out. And yeah, just go on the recipe book, choose one, and make it a bit of like an activity, or even an activity for the family. You can get everybody involved. You could even buy the pizza bases and just choose loads of toppings and get everyone to make their own, and just make it fun. That's what I would say. But if you've got any other ideas, let me know. I'm struggling with snacking. Any tips? Okay, so what I would say with that one is going back to the one where I said about snacking in the evening. But also, if you struggle with snacking in general, like, are you a person who needs more and often? Because for me, I am a snacker because I need to keep my energy levels topped up. I'm really busy and I am really active. And I find that if I have a big meal, yeah, I'm fine for a while. I feel a little bit sluggish and then I'm fine. And then I'll hit a dip, even though it's been a really balanced, good meal. So for me personally, throughout the day, I need to kind of keep my levels topped up. So if you're that kind of person, fine, totally great. Do what works for you. If you're finding that you're having energy dips and then you're craving like some chocolate, like some Smarties or a Mars or a Twix or whatever in the afternoon, then look at your lunch choices. Are you having enough? Are you eating enough? Is it balanced enough? What's your portion size like? And also, what about your snacks later on in the day? Can you just pack some healthy ones and then keep them out, keep them easy to grab, already prepared, so it just takes the decision out of it? The problem is with other snacks, like, say, a perfectly packaged chocolate bar, it's just there and it's easy. So, how can we make eating healthy easy? Take it with you. Have your fruit on the side. Have your whatever. Maybe you have like a naked bar, which is a fruit and nut bar, like a natural one. You have it on the side. So it's easy to grab, it's already there. That would be my tip. I need advice on eating. On days I do an evening class, I feel really hungry beforehand and I don't want to snack when I get home. What snacks would you recommend? Okay, if you're feeling really hungry beforehand, eat something. 100%. If you've had lunch and it's been ages since you've had your lunch, you're getting back and you're like, oh, I really want to do a class, but I'm so hungry and I need something. I need some fuel for my body. Eat. I would say in terms of snacks, banana, dead easy. You could have some toast, like just before a workout, say 30 to 60 minutes before a workout. We want to be thinking about some simple carbohydrates that we can easily digest. So I wouldn't be like, right, yeah, have a porridge half an hour before. And like that porridge, by the way, is a fantastic pre-workout meal, or could be a pre-workout snack, but I wouldn't have it half an hour before. I'd probably leave a little bit longer. But you don't want anything really heavy on your stomach. So be thinking about quick things. You could have some rice cakes with a bit of peanut butter. You could have some hummus with some dips. Those would be my kind of go-tos for something just before a class, or a protein bar or something like that, just before a class. Or even, like I said before, those like fruit and nut bars. Something that's not too heavy, something that is higher in carbohydrates, maybe a bit of protein as well. Don't need to overthink it too much. Just give your body a little bit of energy. You could even have a small yogurt. I wouldn't be going having a massive bowl because again, that might sit really heavy. It depends on the person. But they're probably the things I would tend to go for. I would personally be most likely to go for like the toast or the banana option. Just get some carbohydrates in there and then go and do my class. Um, there's a lot of talk about time restricted eating and only eating during certain hours of the day. What's your view? Do you want my honest view? My honest view? My honest view. Do you want my honest view? It's a load of rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish. So, the only reason that time restricted eating works for fat loss is because it makes that person eat less overall in the day. Like they have a lower calorie intake in the day, calories being a unit of energy from food. Did you know what a calorie is, or a kilocalorie as we use, the kcal? It is the amount of energy that comes off a food, yeah, any food, to heat, get this, 1 litre of water by 1 degree. And that is what a calorie is. It's a unit of measurement. Anyway, that's the only reason it works because, say, for a lot of people, they delay their breakfast and they'll end up having breakfast like more towards lunchtime and then they push everything backwards. So essentially, they've kind of like missed out a meal. Now, for some people, that really works. If you are somebody who has high cortisol levels, you're somebody who is very active, or you're somebody who is perimenopausal, personally, in my opinion, I don't really think it's that useful at all because it can send your hormones and your body, like your body's under stress if you haven't got enough food, right? It can send them all over the place. You don't have that constant kind of energy through the day. You can really experience like severe dips and spikes in your energy levels. And also, we want to be fueling our body throughout the day if we're on a fat loss journey and if we're trying to repair our muscle. It could maybe potentially be a window of protein that you've lost there as well, or it's actually harder to then cram it later on in the day. That's my personal opinion. I think it works for some people and it doesn't work for others. And you have to find what works for you at the end of the day. And the only caveat I would have with this is I wouldn't be eating big meals just before bed, unless you can help it. You want to be leaving 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed so that your body can actually rest and get into that parasympathetic zone where it is just really, your body's just turning the dial down, okay? That is kind of what the parasympathetic system does. It just turns the dial down and helps you relax and get into this state where you feel more ready for bed. And we don't want to be, ramping things up with the digestive system, like trying to digest our food at the same time as trying to tell our body to relax and go to sleep. It's really conflicting. So that's the only thing I would say. And I can speak from experience because last night I had a podcast to do. Then I finished a podcast towards 8 p.m. I was uploading it, then I had loads of notifications, loads of messages, loads of emails to answer, and then ended up making dinner at 9:30 and then sitting there and eating it almost 10 o'clock. But my body needed food and I needed to eat something. So I wasn't going to go to bed without anything. And then it does just mess your sleep up. Like looking at my sleep monitor, it was just so it was so restless, even though I was actually asleep. And it took me ages to get to sleep. It really did. So that's my only thoughts on that one. I hope that's useful. Supplements. Are some brands more recommended than others? Are there supplements I should prioritize, especially with the perimenopause and HRT? So with the perimenopause, I would say things, obviously, of course, first and foremost, you need to be getting your nutrition from your food first and foremost. And that is the body's preferred way of absorbing it too. But if I were to suggest any for the perimenopause and postmenopause, I would be looking at calcium, vitamin D for the bones. I would also be looking at potentially magnesium and then omega-3s as well. They would be the ones that I would be looking at. In terms of brands, I personally feel like a lot of it is a marketing ploy. I just go to your local supermarket. You really don't need to overthink it. Some people have a preference for some brands. So if any squaddies do have any suggestions, please put it in the Facebook group on what you use. But I think a lot of it is a marketing ploy. Do you know the best thing you can do is go to a supermarket and actually look at the back of the label and what is actually in it, and go for the one that is the most pure and has the least kind of fillers and other things added to it. But just have a look on the back of the packet and see what you're actually putting into your body. That would be my best advice on that one. All right. So let's move on to the exercise and fitness side. So some short fire questions, gang. Is it best to exercise? Is it best to exercise when you feel tired, or is it okay? I personally think that exercise gives you energy, particularly if you are somebody who you're feeling like you've got a lot on, you're feeling overwhelmed, and you're not in a routine of doing it consistently. I would say do it because you feel so energized from doing it. If you are physically tired, as in your muscles are tired, and for whatever reason, I would say have a rest day and move it to the next day. But if it is just a case of the fact that you feel a bit emotionally tired, or you're just feeling tired in general, I would do something, even if it's just some gentle movement, because it's really, really energizing. Which classes should I do to lose a chunk around my middle? Okay, we can't fat spot reduce, so we can't choose a part on our body where we want to lose weight. And don't believe anybody or anything that tells you that that's the case, because it's not the case. We need to be losing weight in general, so we need to be in a calorie deficit. It's going to mainly come from the food, reducing portion sizes, focusing on lean proteins, whole grains, real proper food. That's going to be your main focus. And also, if you suffer with bloating, maybe looking at what you're eating and seeing what's triggering that. For example, are you having a lot of coffee? Because that can really trigger the digestive system. Are you eating a lot of things like onions or garlic? Are you having a lot of like or too many veggies? Or are you not having enough? What are you eating and what are your triggers? I would start writing it down. Write it down, find out what your triggers are if you suffer with bloating. Also, take your time to chew your food so that your enzymes in your saliva can start to digest the food before you eat it. And it also helps you slow down. It really helps with digestion and bloating. So if you're feeling like you've got just like a weight round the middle, bloating could be, but just in general, being on a weight loss journey, making sure that you're prioritizing protein and strength training, but also get a little bit of everything in. If you follow the classes at 6 or 6:30, or you do them both, I've got you covered. It's important to do a little bit of everything. So you've got your core that you want to be doing. We want to be toned. We want to be strong around the middle as well. Your strength training, which is going to be important for maintaining muscle mass. Again, super important. And then also a little bit of cardio, a little bit of HIIT training, maybe like HIIT or sculpt, for example. So balanced exercise routine, making sure that we are in a calorie deficit, so tweaking the nutrition, prioritizing protein, and also be thinking about how we're eating and what might be triggering things if we're feeling things like bloating. And lots of water. How soon should you increase the weights you lift? I mean, even I'm kind of guessing the fact that you're asking me this question is you're probably ready, right? So if you're doing an exercise and you're not really feeling adequately challenged and you're getting the full range of movement and you're thinking, do you know what, I could do that track again right now, increase your weight. In stronger, so if you do stronger, I would advise doing it a couple of times a week, once or twice a week. I would say by round about week 3, 4, you want to start upping the weight on that particular release. And it's a great way to see and feel your progress as well. Choose a stronger release and then do it twice. If you're doing it twice a week, let's say, do it twice a week for probably towards the end of 2 weeks if you're doing it twice a week. Then up your weights a little bit. Just do it. Do it and see what happens, because if you feel your technique's starting to go, just put them down and go a little bit lighter. That's the best thing you can do. Some of the floor exercises make my hips click quite loudly. Is that okay? No pain though, so probably fine. Generally speaking, like I'm not a physio, but generally speaking, it's okay. It's okay if it is a click and it's not causing any pain. It can be muscles or tendons. So, for example, your tendons like snapping over bony structures and making a little clicky sound. It can be some joint movement or some like gas bubble release in the fluid joint, from my understanding. And also, from my understanding, if it doesn't cause you any pain, it isn't an issue. It's not a problem. It's okay. If it is like a big clunking noise and actually it is bothering you, it could indicate something like a muscle imbalance or weakness. So, for example, if you get a clunking in your hips, it could be the fact that they need strengthening or a bit of mobility work. So that could be a bit of food for thought on that one. So it depends on where it is, how often it happens, and I feel like you know your body well, like you know it, and you will know if it hurts and it's a problem. Um, What helps recovery after new exercises? I'm usually okay after cardio, but not used to doing strength or yoga type exercise. I'm still sore after a few days. Yeah, that's totally normal. It's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, and it happens whenever you do anything that's a bit more intense than normal or a bit different to what your body's used to. Just bear it in mind, and bear in mind that it does get easier to the point where sometimes like you literally won't even feel it. Like I rarely feel it now unless I do something totally different or a bit more intense, like booty band last week. Woo! And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're not getting a good workout, by the way. Um, so I would say rest 100%. So the next day you might want to switch the workout. If you had a strength class planned in for the day after, switch it. Or if you did lower body and actually, woo, I'm feeling that, then do upper body the next day. Or just change it out, or just have a rest day. Do something like yoga, for example. You need to give your body enough rest so that your muscles repair and you're ready to work out again. Otherwise, we're going to be like a hamster on a wheel and just not getting anywhere. So just take your time at the start. Make sure you're prioritizing protein, sleep, and water. And there you should be ready and raring to go. When you're feeling totally exhausted and you ache hurt from work, how do you find the strength to work out? So it's going to depend on your job. Like if you have a really physical job, what can we do that is going to support you to be stronger at your work? So it's about thinking, if you've had a really intense day, you get back and your muscles are screaming at you, then we probably need to get ourselves onto some yoga or yoga escape to help release those off. You'd also want to be prioritizing protein for muscle recovery, water, and getting adequate sleep. And then you want to be thinking, right, okay, so my job's really intense and I need strength. And I don't want to get back all the time and feel like I'm just exhausted and achy all the time. I need to improve my energy and my strength to be good at my job. And also, so I don't come back and feel like I've literally got no life left in me. Do your classes first thing. Do them in the morning before you go. Don't do them when you come back if you know you're going to be really tired and not able to do them. Do them before you go. And I would say doing at least a couple of strength workouts a week, maybe, and the rest of the time, it sounds like we might need some more holistic stuff in there to help release it off. So some stretch or yogascape or yoga. They're the things that I would prioritize and do it at a time when it suits you, because it sounds like the evening is just not an ideal time unless you're going to do something more restorative and help like release them off. I'm keen to find a class that's easy on my hip. Oh, so many. You could even go for like desk workouts because then there's not going to be any strain on the hips on those. Or you could do upper body, so you type upper into on demand. Or you could also just type hip in there, and there's some gorgeous hip releases, really, really nice ones. So just go to the search bar and tap that in, put some in your favorites, and then they're good to go. Um, how do you motivate yourself to do everything you should? Oh, $1 million question. I wish everyone I had enough motivation to give everyone. I wish I had enough myself as well to do everything that I should. I think when we're spinning so many plates and life's really, really overwhelming, with the workout side of things, I swear by doing it in the morning because I really find that if you have a busy life, as soon as like that golden time in the morning is gone, it's kind of like everything and everyone else dictates the day. So it's really important just to make sure that you filled your cup up. If you have really young kids, for example, and that's not, you can't do that. You can't just get up in the morning because that will wake them up and it's not ideal. Find another way to fit it in. Find a way to prioritize you, because when you take action and you work on you, that's motivating in itself. It might be when they go to bed, even though you know you're going to be feeling a little bit jaded, a little bit tired, but you need to show up for you because exercise creates motivation and also creates energy. But just in general, like I would say, yeah, make sure you're doing that for you because we need to exercise to be healthy, right? For our long-term health. And without our health, we don't have anything. So we must prioritize that. We must do that. And you feel good for doing something for you. And then the rest of the time, you could just have one priority for the day. So you've done your workout, and then what? What's your one thing that you have to achieve that day? And one day it might be making sure that you are sat at the table with the family, fully present with a home cooked meal. That is your priority for that day. Another day is you might have a work deadline, and I just have to get that work deadline done. So just have one thing that you've got to achieve that day. And then that's motivating in itself because it's not overwhelming. There's not too many things to do. Or you could have a list of three, like, okay, I'm going to get those three done. And then the other things to do's are like, they're not urgent for today. And if I get onto them, great. If I don't, then whatever. And I have that list. I have I have a running order of my list of how my day goes, and then I have other column at the side. Um, but don't rely on motivation. Rely on routine and systems. Have a routine. So, for example, for your water, have a glass of water by your coffee, or have a bottle on the side. For your workouts, lay your clothes out on the floor so you literally have to step on them. Or as soon as you get back from work, put them on. Put them on. And that's the first thing, and that's motivating in itself. Create little routines for yourself in your day so you don't have to rely on motivation. So it's just a case of, right, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do that. And it follows on from each other. For example, I get up, I make a coffee, I have a bit of water from the cup that is next to my coffee. My clothes are there on the side. I put my clothes on, I am ready to go. And that is what you do every day. And then you don't need to worry about motivation. You soon get into routine, it becomes just part of what you do. How do you plan when there's so much unpredictable stuff going on? Oh, it's so hard. So I would say life is always going to be unpredictable. The only guaranteed thing in life is that it's going to change all the time. So we just have to control the controllables and not worry about the rest. Like, let the rest go. Just let the rest be what it is, be what it has to be. But plan, if this is in terms of classes, okay, plan your classes for the week ahead and give yourself a range target of, I have to show up for minimum of X, and make it something you know you're going to achieve. Like, for example, 3 workouts. If I can't show up for myself for three slots of 20 minutes a week, then what am I doing? So what I need to like reshuffle my priorities here. Why can't I even have three lots of 20 minutes to myself? So that's what I would do. So you'd have your non-negotiable and you'd have your ideal. My ideal is that I'm going to do 6 workouts a week, for example. Anywhere in between there is fine. So we aim for the ideal. If we get three, fine. Doesn't matter. I know that it's still a win because I hit my non-negotiable and I'd never let it go below that anyway. Next week, I'm going to try and aim for my ideal. If you get 5 or 4, great, great. If you get the ideal, great, brilliant. So have your range and plan for the unpredictable. Do it first thing in the morning, get it done. If something crops up, then be flexible. Be like, right, okay, I'm going to slot it in the day after. I'm going to slot it in somewhere else. With online, it fits in around your lifestyle and not the other way around. It's not like when you book a class at the gym, like it's going to happen at that time. And if something crops up and you don't make it, well, that's it. That's it, done. It's not like that at all. Something crops up, think, oh, right, okay, I'm going to put it there. I'm going to show it for myself. I'm going to put it there. And do you know what? I'm going to keep my gym kit on because then I know that I'm definitely going to do it. That's how you do it. And hey, it's life. It's life. And sometimes you just have to throw our arms in the air and go, oh well, progress over perfection. We move on. My Fitbit has been telling me my daily readiness is low. What is that based on? My sleep hasn't been too bad. Is it wrong to ignore it? Now, I would bear it in mind. I would absolutely bear it in mind. It can be based on lots of things. Like I don't have a Fitbit, but I have a Whoop, and that is based on my heart rate. It's based on my heart rate variability, which is basically the space in between your heartbeats and like the rhythm of your heartbeats, for example. So I don't know if you know, but a heart doesn't beat like doom, 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 like regularly. It's not irregular, but it's more like a do, 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 do. A bit like that. That's called your heart rate variability. And the more it is like less, I feel like the regular is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. It kind of shows that your body is more reactive and it's ready to take on new challenges. So you want a high heart rate variability. And it also looks at my sleep and like the depth of my sleep, etc. I'm not saying you need to get into that. Like realistically, the best thing you can do is look at it, bear it in mind. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Right. And if you were thinking, if you're in a place where you're like, oh, I was going to do an extra workout today, but it's telling me that I'm totally burnt out and actually I do feel a little bit jaded, so I'm not going to do that extra workout, then fair enough. Just bear it in mind, but don't let it run your day. Like if you wake up, it tells you you're not ready and you feel fine, ignore it. I woke up today and yesterday I've been flying, been like green, green, green every day, woo! And then this morning I was like, I feel okay, like despite everything. I feel like actually I got really all right night's sleep. I came down, did my normal routine, as in making my coffee, getting my notepad out. I was like, oh, I'll have a little look. And it was like, yeah, you are red. You're a red girl. I was like, oh, what? Like, I could let that spoil my day. I could totally let that spoil my day and think, oh, I'm red now, so I'm just feel rubbish. I'm so not energized. I had rubbish night's sleep. And I could really let that play my mind. Or I could just do what I did and totally ignore it. I just get on with my day and think, well, whatever. I'm going to make sure it's a good day today. And then what I will do though is I'll just make sure that I'm getting to bed on time tonight. That's what I would do. So go with how you feel. That's the most important thing. I really struggle to get up in the morning, always have done. My mood is low in the morning, but improves once I'm up. Do you have any tips? I would say just do it. Just get up. Get up early. I sound really mean. Just do it. Get up early and set your alarm for the same time every day, even at the weekend. It's harder. It's harder in the winter because it's dark outside. But bear that in mind. I personally find the best thing to do is just get up early, get on with my day and not really think about it. So just get straight into morning routine and straight into the class. Because as soon as you do the class, you feel awake, energized, and actually you've got those feel good endorphins going around. You just feel really, really good. So I would say, know that as soon as you get to class, you're going to feel really, really good. And you soon get used to it. You soon get used to getting up at that time, and your body's almost like waking you up before you're even ready. So I would just say that would be the best thing. and know that it's going to be hard at the start. Know that at least the first couple of weeks of doing this, of setting your alarm early. So, if, say for example, you come to the 6 o'clock classes, setting your alarm at 5:45, and then getting up for the class straight away. Like the first couple of weeks is going to feel hard, but then you get used to it, and then you don't think about it anymore, and all of a sudden the mornings aren't as hard. But just make sure that you're doing that, and then rather than thinking like, oh, I need a bit of a lie-in, I'm going to have a lie-in the next day, I'll try for the day after because I need to catch up on my Z's. Rather than think like that, just get up at the same time, just get up. And then when you go to bed at night, you'll soon find after a couple of weeks that when your head hits the pillow, you're gone and you have a really deep night's sleep. And then just doing all the things to help support deep night sleep there. So you're tackling at both ends. But I would kind of say, know that it's going to be hard and uncomfortable at the start, and it gets so much easier. And know that coming to class just lifts your mood and you just feel really, really good. You could have your kit laid out like in your room as well, ready to go. You could have, say, your favorite tea or coffee cup like ready for you when you come downstairs. Like have a little moment, sit down with a coffee, like have that as your time, your little couple of minutes for a mindful coffee. Do something like that so you've got something to look forward to and something exciting when you wake up in the morning. Something that feels like comfy. Put your favorite slippers on, come downstairs, have a little cozy coffee, get your kit on, and then come and do a class, and you feel really, really good. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this Q&A. I really enjoyed the questions. I've really enjoyed delivering it. Do let me know. And also, if you are wanting to join the course, if you want to join the 6-week reboot, so you're listening to this and you're not a squaddy, then now's the time. Now's the time. Come and join the family. And squaddies, if you've got any friends who want to come and join us, then please do get them involved. It sounds really cheesy, but with what we do, we're helping so many people and changing so many lives in the best way. Um, I just think what we do is incredible. I think you're all amazing. So do make sure you spread the word because it's January and this is kind of the time when me as a fitness instructor, I want to catch people before they go into anything fatty that doesn't work and then feel really frustrated with themselves and have to go through the whole process of, oh, I can't do this. Doesn't work. I have to find something else and go for something else that's really damaging for their relationship with their body and food. So for me, I just want to help as many people as I can to improve their relationship with their health, their fitness, their confidence in their food and exercise. And I really think we do that at the squad really well. Anyway, gang, I'll see you in class. I hope you've enjoyed it. And please do let me know. Please do let me know if it's been useful. And I will speak to you soon. I'll see you in class tomorrow. Oh, and remember, got a treat coming. Look out for it. Bye, everyone.